All right, Derek Carrier. Whoa. Derek Carrier did tear his ACL and MCL. He'll be out for the year. Deshaun Jackson has a patella contusion. He'll be day-to-day. Morgan Moses was evaluated but did not have a concussion. He came back in the game. And then all the guys, Chris Thompson will be day-to-day with his shoulder. Andre Roberts day-to-day with his knee. And Dron Johnson day-to-day with his hamstring.
Obviously, you guys have had some issues with tight end this year. Just how big a loss is Carrier?
It's a big loss. Obviously, he's our true Y, remaining Y, blocking tight end. So, Ham's going to have to step up, Jordan Reed, or we'll have to go out and look for another one.
I'm sure you've already taken a look to see who's out there. Are there any players who have enough experience where you think they would be able to come in and help you in the final?
There's a couple we're looking at. Scott's looking at them now, and Alex Santos, and they're doing their work now. We're going to maybe bring a couple guys in tomorrow morning for a workout, see how that goes. But with Ham and obviously Jordan, and then Compton, who's played a significant amount of reps at Y, has done a good job, so we have that option also.
Jay, when Derek came in, he had talked about how in San Francisco he's mostly a pass-catching guy, didn't do much run blocking. Just how much did you see him improve throughout this season and the work that he did with Wes and Bill to really get into shape to do what you guys wanted him to do?
Yeah, he was getting better. He wasn't a finished product. It isn't a finished product, and we liked his progression. It's just unfortunate it happened. We liked where he was going. He's a smart guy. He's gaining strength in the weight room and was doing better at the point of attack and backside. I had a ways to go, but we liked where he was going, and it's unfortunate. But now Ham and Jordan and Compton have to step up.
The last two games that you've won, Giants and yesterday, running game has been good, but not really high average, not really dominant. Is that just kind of where you are right now? I know you'd like to do better, but do you think you can do what you need to do rushing for around 100 yards and around 3 yards a carry?
We'd definitely like to do better than we've done, that's for sure. But I think having Kirk throw the ball, I think it was 31 times in the game when we rushed the ball, right around 30 times. I think that's a great recipe for us. I've said that all along. We got to get our average up, though. We run it on first down, we're getting 1 and 2 yards. I think in the first half we averaged 2.5 yards a carry. Again, challenge you guys at halftime, and they upped the ante a little bit. But still, we need to demand a little bit more from our running game. But the commitment is there, and we just got to do better blocking and running.
What's the severity on Deshaun Jackson's injury, and did you consider at all taking him out when he's hobbling around there in the second half?
Yeah, I considered it. I kind of left it up to him. He's pretty good about his body, and he felt like he could go back in. And he went back in there and hobbled around and tried to make some plays. But I think he'll be okay. He'll probably miss a day or two of practice knowing him, but he'll be ready to go.
Jay, Jordan Reed often fights for extra yards after getting a reception, but yesterday it seemed like he did a little more, especially on that first drive where he was reaching for the end zone, fought off 3 defenders, did it a few more times. Do you feel like he was trying to set the tone and kind of, let everyone know he was there to have a big day?
I think so, and he's always been a very good runner after the catch. Just got to continue to harp on his ball security. It gets a little scary. He's reaching the ball out, but he played with unbelievable effort yesterday. He was by far our most dominant player in that football game, running after the catch, getting off the line of scrimmage, separating himself from the defender and making strong catches in tight windows. So excellent game by Jordan. We're going to need him to have big games these last 3 also.
Jay, I realize it's Scott's job to find the players, but from your perspective, how difficult is it these days to find an accomplished, capable tight end? And what's the challenge as a coach at this point in the season of blending somebody new into a pretty sophisticated offense?
It's a great challenge. It's a tough position to find nowadays, with all these spread offenses in college football, and there's just not a lot of tight ends on the streets anymore, and not a lot that can do both, block in the core and run routes. It's either you get a big blocking tight end that can't run a lick, or you get a spread tight end who's a great runner but can't block a lick. So, I'm sure hopefully there's 1 or 2 out there that we can work out and maybe sign, but if not, like I said, we have it in-house. I think we can get by with the guys that we have. Obviously, you don't have the flexibility that you'd like to have at that position of Compton's a tight end and some of your base personnel stuff, but we'll have to do it with what we have.
Are there some characteristics that you see in Jerron that can at least where you use Compton and Inseki, they're obviously going to be blocking, but do you see Jerron maybe being able to stretch a little bit and, maybe bring a little bit to be able to do both?
Yeah, we hope so. He's come in, he's learned the system, he's been on the practice squad a little bit more than a year now, and he's gained some strength in the weight room, which is good. He's one of these guys you like to have in your building where you develop him, and he got some reps last week, a little bit, spot duty, did an adequate job, and but we just have to see. He'll get more reps in practice, and we'll have to see how good we feel about it, and blocking the point of attack backside. But we know he can run and catch the ball. That's a good thing. But blocking is one thing he's got to work on, and Wes has done a good job working on it with him.
On Cousins' interception, he said he just didn't see the defender, basically. Is that something that, and that happens to experienced quarterbacks, to everybody, is that something that maybe over time he can kind of get a feel, with more and more experience, he can get a feel for, hey, that somebody could jump over here?
Yeah, I think so. I think he could have got a lot from the pre-snap recognition of where the corner was and the coverage. It should have seen it was cover two, and in that particular route, the flat defender was the corner, and he just didn't see him. I don't know if he was blinded by the right tackle or what have you, but he needs to know where the corner is in cover two for sure when you're running a deep out-breaking route to Pierre. So, that's something he'll learn from, but he does have to do a better job of seeing where he's throwing it and seeing the underneath hook defenders or flat defenders.
Jordan was a pretty good receiver his first couple of years here. Is there something he's doing better, either as a route runner, as a receiver, than he was even a year ago?
Well, he's staying on the field, number one, which is a big thing. He's always been a very gifted, athletic human. I mean, he can cut on a dime. He's got very strong hands. He gets in and out of his breaks in a hurry. But now I think he's doing a better job of recognizing coverage and how to get on people's toes and work on leverage and use leverage to his advantage and set people up. A lot of times when you're a good athlete and you're young, you are too quick with everything. But now he's being a lot more patient in his routes and getting up on people and doing a great job of separating, get his head around, becoming a really friendly target for the quarterback. And that goes a long way with a young quarterback.
Jay, as your team gets ready to approach these final 3 games to end the season, is there a certain message that you preach to them, or does anything need to be said to this group to finish out the season strong?
I don't think there's a specific message. I think you have to just continue to take it one game at a time, man. This league is crazy the way it works out, man. We have yet to put back-to-back wins together this year, and I think that'll be a focal point, man, how we rebound after a victory. I've said that before 6 times, and it hasn't worked very well. This is going to be a very important game for us. Buffalo's coming here after a tough loss to Philadelphia, and they have a very good football team. So we're going to have to just continue to stay on top of our game as far as a mental and physical approach to it, a consistent approach, and just go after them and continue to stay after them. But I think the guys will be ready.
Getting back to Kirk for a second, as much as he regretted throwing that ball and that interception, is it fair to say that with only 3 interceptions the last 7 games and the way he, again, bounced back from that mistake, I think he went 3 of 4 on the next drive to kind of set up the go-ahead field goal, that the narrative of him being a turnover-prone quarterback who also might be mentally fragile, is that something you can say is no longer an issue, something you're concerned
I
about?
hope so. I think he's still got to continue to prove that, but quarterbacks are going to throw interceptions. You look at the stats amongst the great quarterbacks that are playing right now, and they've thrown interceptions, and he's going to throw some more in his career, and he's probably going to get badgered for them in the media here. But playing a quarterback position is very difficult. You have pass rush to deal with, protections to deal with, coverages to see, touch, throw it hard, in between defenders. All that stuff is very difficult, and he can't lose his confidence one bit after an interception. That's the one thing we want to see is if he does throw an interception, to come back and still have a aggressive mentality. And I think he's starting to do that, and it's not affecting him as much. Or if it did affect him, I don't know, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him when he does throw a turnover or throw a pick. So that's a big thing. He just got to keep grinding, keep playing. But he was 24 for 31, I think, for 300 yards against the Bears on the road. That's pretty dang impressive, whether you throw an interception or not. So we're happy with his progress. He's got us in a great position to be successful at the end of the year, and that's all we can ask for.
Coach, with growth, you up 14-zip, then 21-7. They tie it, and everybody's going, uh-oh, can the Redskins close out? Does it show to you there's growth in your team by being able to get that field goal and hold on late?
Yeah, it was big kick by Hopkins. I mean, that was a huge kick, 46, I think, yarder against the wind, and he nailed it. So it gave us a lead, and the defense did a good job of, holding their ground and not giving up anything big after the Alshon Jeffrey big completion. You know, they held their ground right there, made them make a 50-yard field goal, and he missed it. So good resilience by our football team. We like to play a little bit better when we do have the lead, maybe be a little bit more aggressive, but for the most part, that's a good football team we beat at home. And, you know, we just stayed the course, and the guys played well and got the victory.
I know yesterday you touched on it briefly, the miscommunication where you guys had to burn the 2 timeouts as the play clock's winding down, and then obviously the one on the goal line, you wind up taking the penalty. I know you guys also prepare for a lot of different situations. So what is the go-to plan when the headset goes out, and then what was the circumstance yesterday that you guys couldn't go to, whether it's a group of 5 plays or 1 play or whatever it is that Kirk can call by himself?
Yeah, we have a wristband, and then Kirk does have a group of plays that he can get to, each personnel grouping. You know, the one at the goal line, like I said, we were trying to figure out what personnel to get to, and they started the clock, and I didn't know it. That was my fault all the way. They usually tell me, or, hey, point at me or hit a whistle or something, but nobody did that, and we were just trying to get our guys out there. The one at the end of the quarter, we were like a second off, and thought we had the quarter and didn't call a play out there, and it was too late, and we had to take a timeout. But other than that, you know, you prepare for situations where the headsets do go out, so we have a wristband ready to go. We have signals available for Kirk, and then he also has some go-to plays out of each formation.
With the package that you have with Compton, is that something that you see probably expanding more now that, you know, with the absence of Carrier, and how do you think that and Ty, those 3 tight end formations have worked out so far for the team?
They're okay. You know, I think you can expand on them a little bit. We'll have to. You know, that's what we're doing right now, and we lose Carrier. You know, we weren't going to do as much of it yesterday. But when Carrier went down, we had to use some more of it than we really wanted to. But we still have different personnel groupings we can be in. We can be in 3 tight ends, or 3 receivers, 1 tight end. We can be in 3 receivers, no tight ends, and 2 backs. There's a lot of things we can do. We just have to hone in on what our plan will be for the Jets and go from there. But, you know, I imagine Compton will be part of it in some way, shape, or form, and possibly in Secchi still.
Defense in general, last few games, giving up some yards, but you know, only 4 touchdowns if you take away short drives after turnovers, 7 takeaways. Is this kind of evolving into what you thought the defense might be at the start of the year?
Yeah, I think so. They're playing sound football. You know, we're not giving up the big plays, which is good. We gave it the big one to Alshon Jeffrey, of course. It was a good throw by Jay. He bought time and scrambled and hit him, and then he had another scramble play, I think, where he hit Jeffrey down the middle earlier in the game. But for the most part, we're playing good, sound defense in the back end and get enough push where we're making a quarterback hurry a little bit. I think we still need to get better with our pass rush, no question about it, especially when we have 3rd down and 7+. There was a couple instances there where we had 3rd down and medium to long where he had time to throw and move around and find some completion. So we got to continue to work on our pass rush. But overall, I think from a sound standpoint, I feel good about where they're at.
Jay, you gave them, I think, a day off or a little bit of a breather last week since then they were banged up. Could you tell in the game, did that pay dividends, do you think? And in the final push, is it something you might do again, or do you think you just need to maximize every day?
There's merit to altering your schedule depending on how the team is health-wise. And we'll have to make a determination, you know, once we talk to Larry again, and we'll find out tomorrow when these guys come in for a walkthrough. We'll see where they're at. But I think we can get some work in on Wednesday, but you know, may not quite be as long as a normal Wednesday would be or a normal Thursday would be. We'll alter the plan depending on the health of the football team. If Deshaun can't go and Andre can't go, we'll be short some receivers. So there's certain things we'll have to shorten down.
Jay, back to the pass rush real quick. Kerrigan has 4 sacks, I think, in 4 games now. Another one yesterday. Are you seeing a difference in him from early in the season, or was it just a case of missed opportunities maybe earlier that his numbers are a little bit down? And how where is he as you see him now at this point in the season?
Yeah, he did miss some opportunities early on, plus he missed all the preseason. We were trying to rest him with his knee and all that stuff, so I think he's getting back in the flow. And, you know, he's a consistent player for us. He's very good in the running game, and like I said before, it's not about his sacks. His presence is felt quite often throughout the course of a football game. In the running game, you see him on the backside making tackles, on the front side forcing the ball back into our big guys, and he does a great job in the running game. And in the passing game, he is occupying chip blocks, which is taking a receiver out of the equation, and he's doing a good job making the quarterback step up and to other people. So I like where Ryan's at. He is getting better and better, and I think he's feeling healthier and healthier as the season is going on.
How did Jason Hatcher come through? I know he didn't play as much, but how did he come through at the
Yeah, he's a
game?
little sore. You know, I really appreciate Jason and fighting through that injury. You know, a lot of guys probably wouldn't have played with that thing, but you know, he strapped it up for us and gave us all he had. Man, that's a true. That's what he's all about, man. He's been like that since we got him from Dallas, and he's one of the leaders that we talk about in the locker room, and he won't miss it. If he can walk, he'll be out there playing.